Imagine living with a life-threatening disease that cannot be treated with traditional pharmaceuticals. Imagine relying on ordinary people to help provide the biological material that has the power to save your life. More than 1 million people globally live with this reality every day. For people suffering from diseases like hemophilia, primary immunodeficiencies, and alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, a special kind of treatment is available that can only be developed using proteins found in human plasma.
Hemophilia is one of the diseases where we're missing an important blood protein. In this case, these proteins are important for our patients to prevent bleeding. And they can have bleeding not just if they have an operation or if they have a problem with an injury, but even during their activities of daily living. Our patients are born missing this important protein in their blood. And there's no pill or other medicine they can take that will make them better. In fact, the only way for them to have a normal life is to receive the protein that they're missing into their bloodstream, and in this way avoid injury and, unfortunately, in some cases, even death from the lack of this protein.
Plasma protein therapies are made, most of them are made from human plasma, and they contain proteins that a lot of patients are unable to produce, and that results in life-threatening diseases, a very impaired quality of life, and with the delivery of these proteins, these patients can lead a normal life and be happy.
According to experts, plasma-derived and recombinant analog therapies have proven to be safe and effective in helping people of all ages to fight chronic diseases and immune deficiency disorders, improving and in some cases saving lives.
In many cases, before the institution of plasma protein treatment for these conditions, there would be death even in childhood, so that the survival of individuals with this condition rarely reached adulthood. And those who reached adulthood would often have very significant problems with bleeding into their joints or their muscles that lead them to being, frankly, crippled. So there really is no option for the successful life and the successful participation in our community for individuals without any opportunity to receive this treatment.
Right now, a registered nurse in an emergency room. I'm able to be active outside of work also. Without these therapies, it would limit my life in many ways, including the possibility of not having a productive job. I would also have the risk of being in a hospital more for these bleeds because I can't control them at home. These therapies that I take on a daily basis allow me to manage my hemophilia at home, and I'm able to do that and live a productive life.
Unlike chemical or synthetic pharmaceuticals, plasma protein therapies including recombinant products are unique because they use biological material in their manufacturing, and so no two therapies are alike.
There are some major differences between the plasma protein therapeutic industry and the traditional pharmaceutical industry. The starting material is human plasma, obtained from many committed donors. The manufacturing process is very complex and can take up to 12 months before therapies are supplied to patients. The patient populations are relatively small compared to high numbers in the pharmaceutical industry, and as a result of that, the cost of the therapy is relatively higher.
The process of developing plasma protein therapies, including recombinant therapies, is complex and costly, requiring advanced technological equipment, research and development, highly trained personnel, and intense commitment to quality control. The creation of a plasma protein therapy can take up to 12 months from the time of donation, and because some therapies require human plasma, a patient's ability to gain access to them is dependent on the number of committed qualified donors providing plasma and subject to heavy government regulation.
Without plasma protein treatments or recombinant therapies, many of our individuals will have regular bleeding episodes, even with the activities of daily living. And while we think of these injuries as occurring when someone might be bumped into or bump into something, sometimes these will occur internally. And without any evidence on the outside, there will be significant and painful injuries of the internal organs or the joints or other critical places in the body. So there's an absolute requirement for plasma protein therapy in order to prevent these from happening, which is the preferred way to do it, or to treat them after they've occurred, to prevent them from expanding and continuing to cause pain and disability.
I've imagined my life without the access to my therapy in a nightmare. It's something that I don't like to think about, my wife doesn't like to think about, because without it I basically won't survive. When it's in short supply, that's one thing, and you have to fight to get it. But if it were completely unavailable, that would be beyond my imagination.
I remember a time when we couldn't get access to Factor. There was a problem with our insurance, and our home care company couldn't ship our medicine, and we were down to like 3 doses. And you know, you always worry about a head injury. He needs 100%, and he needs 100% then and 24 hours later. You know, and head injuries are huge. So that's a real big concern, and you know, I don't ever want to have to go through that again. For the medical insurance companies to deny access, or for there not to be enough facilities to get the proper care, it literally destroys families. It's almost, can you imagine not seeing your child suffer and not being able to help? Can you imagine having your child almost in essence have to live in a box because they can't do anything? They can't go out for sports, they can't just ride their bike or anything like that. That's what it's like. It's like putting your child in a glass bubble and not being able to provide them a normal lifestyle.
For all patients with these diseases, access to plasma protein therapies, including recombinant therapies, is an essential part of maintaining a healthy and normal life. That's why the industry is working hard to ensure that these therapies will continue to be available in the future.
A bright future for these patients that need these life-saving therapies depends on multiple factors. Number 1, we need to have awareness among the patients. Number 2, we need the physicians understand and be able to treat the diseases. Number 3, we need experts to understand what's behind the disease. Number 4, we need a government willing to set up a system for appropriate reimbursement. Number 5, we need an industry able to produce these high-quality and safe therapies. And last but not least, we need committed donors to provide sufficient plasma to help these patients in need.
One of our major challenges as the community that is interested in treating individuals with bleeding disorders is to get access to these medicines to all of the people throughout the world who are in need of them. But even in the developed nations, like the United States, where these medicines have become available, the cost can become a very significant issue for the individuals, for their families, for their employers, and for our healthcare system as a whole. So there's a much greater need for us to look at individuals who've been affected with these conditions from birth and really want to be productive members of society to find affordable ways for them to prevent these bleeding episodes.
On an individual level, everyone can help to continue the development of plasma protein therapies by becoming a plasma donor. Patients suffering from diseases requiring plasma-derived treatments depend on healthy, committed individuals who dedicate their time and energy to providing the basis for these life-saving therapies.
People donate and they don't know who these therapies go to. And these therapies make a lot of people live productive lives and really have a very good quality of life. And a lot of the times they don't see that when they donate. And I'd like to just say thank you for all that you do and the plasma that you donate and all the time that everybody puts in to manufacture these products that allow me to live a normal life.
To current donors, I would like to thank them, and I would like to encourage them to spread the word. What you're doing is you're giving hope and you're giving life. And to someone like me and to other people who receive these products, it means the world to us.
Donation is very, very important. It doesn't take very long, it doesn't hurt, it's just people need to do it. A lot of people's lives depend on it.
We need human plasma to make our medicines make us feel better and normal as possible.
Learn more by visiting the Plasma Protein Therapeutics Association at pptaglobal.org.